Hello everyone. We are here to discuss the December 24 question paper. What we are going to do in the next hour and 15 minutes, depending on हम कितना डिटेल में और क्या क्या टाइप में हर एक क्वेश्चन का सोल्यूशन देखते हैं. In the next, let's say, 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, we are going to uh, solve all the questions very quickly and see what are the answers that one expects and what is it that the module was expecting from you. So, to begin with, question number 1. Two numbers are in a ratio of 2:3. If 4 is subtracted from each number, they are in a ratio of 3:5. The numbers are. This question is almost literally, obviously by changing the digits, but almost literally a question that has been asked or that we have put or that we have done in our sheet. Two numbers, let's call it the first number and the second number. इनका रेशियो पता है हमें. क्या रेशियो? 2:3. अगर रेशियो ये है, then can I say actual values 2k and 3k है? If 4 is subtracted from each number, so now we subtract 4. तो फर्स्ट नंबर बन जाएगा 2k minus 4, सेकेंड नंबर बन जाएगा 3k minus 4. ये करने के बाद the new ratio of the numbers becomes 3:5. मतलब 2k minus 4 is 2, 3k minus 4 should be equal to 3:5. Or in other words, 2k minus 4 upon 3k minus 4 is 3/5. Cross multiply. 5 times 2k minus 4 is 3 times 3k minus 4. 5 2s are 10k minus 5 4s are 20 is 3 3s are 9k minus 3 4s are 12. 20 there, 9k here, 10k minus 9k is 20 positive, 12 negative, k is equal to 8. What are the two numbers? The two numbers are 2k and 3k. That's 2 into 8, which is 16, and 3 into 8, which is 24. So your answer to that question is going to be A, 16 and 24. I'm going to give you a quick disclaimer. Whatever answers have been marked in this sheet are not answers that are necessarily correct. Whatever I am highlighting in yellow is the correct answer. Because this question paper is a student's question paper, they have ticked their answers in the question paper. And because it's a copy of it, we cannot get rid of those marks. So the ticked answers are not necessarily the correct answers. Now, remember, every attempt they were making sure that option evaluation is not possible. Well, here in this attempt, they made it easier for you because option evaluation was also possible. What you could do is you could pick up the 4 options and then evaluate them: 16 and 24, 4 and 6, 10 and 15, 12 and 16. Let's go back. Two numbers that are in the ratio of 2:3. So the first check that I am going to do is I am going to check if they are in the ratio of 2:3. But 1 minute, I don't understand what 2:3 is. No problem. 2:3 is 2 by 3. And what is 2 by 3? 2 by 3 is 0.66666. Great. We are going to divide every number and check which of the two is in the ratio of 0.66666. So let's begin. 16 divided by 24, and obviously that is the answer. We have solved it. तो वो होना ही चाहिए, correct? So that is going to be the option that agrees. Next is 4 divided by 6. 0.6666. Great. 10 divided by 15. 0.6666. And lastly, 12 divided by 16 is 0.75. So can I say not an option? So out of the 4, 3 agree, 1 does not agree. I will quickly check them for the second condition. And the second condition is, if you subtract 4, what will you get? A new ratio of 3:5. So I'm going to say, let's subtract 4. If I subtract 4, the numbers will become 12, 20. If I subtract 4, 0, 2. If I subtract 4, 6 and 11. This I'm not subtracting because it did not agree to the first condition. The new ratio now should be 3:5, but I don't understand 3:5. Then let's do a 3 by 5, and a 3 by 5 is going to be 0.6. Anywhere where I divide the two and I get a 0.6 is the answer. 12 divided by 20 is 0.6. Obviously, that was my answer. Next, 0 divided by 2 is going to be 0. And 6 divided by 11 is definitely not going to be 0.6. So my only one option that agrees to both is 16 and 24. That is going to be the answer to the first question. Let's come to question number 2. Again, a question that they had asked in the last attempt. Similar kind of a question. They've kind of repeated it. How much pure milk in ml must be added to 300 ml of a solution containing 15% milk to change the concentration of milk to the mixture to 50%? So what are they saying? There is a mixture. Let's say milk is mixed with water and the mixture is 300 ml that has 15% milk. So 300 ml, that 300 ml is split into two parts, and the two parts are, there is a 15% of milk in it. Well, then obviously the rest of the 85% is something else. Let me for now assume that it is water. 300 ml, 15%. In your calculators, 15% of 300, 300 into 15% is going to be 45. So that's 45 milliliters of milk. And then the rest, which is minus 300, that is a 255 ml is going to be water. What now? This is the current situation. In the 300, there is 45 ml of milk, which is 15%, and 255 ml of water, which is 85%. You are asking me how much pure milk must be added to make that concentration 50%. So I'm going to say, let us add X ml of milk. What will happen after adding X ml? Milk will become 45 plus X. Well, water doesn't change, it remains the same. But the new ratio of this should become 50% of milk. Well, then the new ratio is 50% milk and 50% water. Or another way looking of it is, they should be in equal quantities. Then only they will be 50-50%. Or in other words, 45 plus X upon 255 should be equal to 50-50, which means that 45 plus X upon 255 is 1. Cross multiply, I will say 45 plus X is 255. Basically, they should be equal. 45 goes to the other side. X becomes 255 minus the 45, and the answer is 210. Add 210 ml of milk so that they become equal in quantity. And that is the answer, sorry, to question number 2, which is D. Moving on to question number 3. X varies inversely as Y. Then how is X1, X2 and Y1, Y2 related? So if X varies inversely with Y, let me declare a few things. It means that X is K by Y, or the product of XY should always be a constant. Now, if you say X is a value X1 and Y takes a value Y1, then I will say that XY should be K, which means X1, Y1 should be K. Similarly, if X is X2 and Y takes a value Y2, XY is K, which means X2, Y2 is K. Remember that no matter what value x and y take, because they are inversely proportional, their product should always be a constant, or in other words, x1, y1 is equal to x2, y2. Now, what they want you to do is keep x1 on one side and bring y down. Now, unfortunately, because y1 is already with x, I can't bring y1 down. But I can bring y2 down. So can I say x1 upon y2 is equal to x2 upon y1? And that is why the answer to that is definitely not A, not B at the same time. Why? Because x1 upon x2, if I bring the x2 down, should be y2 upon y1 and not y1 upon y2. C, x1 upon x2 should be equal to y2 upon y1. Well, that could be the answer. So instead of bringing the y down, let me bring the x down. x1 upon x2 is y2 upon y1. So the answer to this is going to be C. That is question number 3. Moving on to question number 4. A given sum of money gives 50 rupees as simple interest for 1 year and 102 as compound interest for 2 years. Determine the rate of interest. So there is a given sum of money. We have absolutely no idea what that is. We know that in a period of 1 year, the simple interest that it gives is 50 rupees 1 minute. But what is the interest? Absolutely no idea. So all I can say is simple interest is PNI. So simple interest is nothing else but 50 is principal into 1 into I, or 50 is equal to PI. What else do I know? Well, what I know is that the compound interest for 2 years is 102. Well, same situation is just that the compound interest is given to you. Principal, we don't know. The period is now 2 years. Interest, we have absolutely no idea at the same time. But we know that the compound interest is 102. Well, then I will say compound interest is principal into 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. 102 is principal into 1 plus I raised to 2 minus 1. Unfortunately, there is no further simplification that is possible. What I can do is, though, because it is just second year, I can square it. 102 is P into A plus B, the whole square is A square, plus 2AB plus B square minus 1. If I simplify this further, the 1 and the 1 cancels. What am I left with? I'm left with 102 is P into 2I plus I square. But 1 minute. Don't I know the value of Pi? Correct. Then open the bracket up. 102 is 2Pi plus Pi square. Or I can say 102 is 2Pi plus Pi into I. What have I done? I have split the Pi square as Pi into I. Wherever I know the value of Pi, which is 50, I'm going to substitute. So I'm going to say 102 is equal to 2 into 50 plus 50 into I. 2 into 50 is 100. 102 is 100 plus 50I. Take the 100 to the other side. 2 is 50I, or I is 2 by 50, or I is 0.04, or the rate is 4%. Now, students that have done this with me, I had done a shortcut formula for difference between simple and compound interest. But you will say, sir, 1 minute, the difference between simple and compound interest is not given to us. And even if they do, how will we solve it? Because we know the simple interest for 1 year and the compound interest for 2 years. 1 minute. Isn't simple interest called simple interest because it's simple? For 2 years, the simple interest will be double of 50, which is going to be 100. So if for 2 years simple interest is 100 and for 2 years compound interest is 102, haven't we learned that compound interest minus simple interest is pi square for 2 years. But 1 minute, I know that for 2 years, compound interest is 102, simple interest is 100, which is pi square. Then can I say pi square is 2? But 1 minute, don't I know the value of pi? Correct? Then can I say pi into I is 2, 50i is 2. Then can I say I is 0.04 or the rate is 4%. Same question we have done in our sheet. If not exactly the same, a question that is very close to this. That is question number 4. Moving on to question number 5. Simple compound interest was always a part of the syllabus. Annuity has been introduced in the 2022 syllabus, but up till now, they had never asked annuity. This is an attempt where they asked an annuity question. But fortunately for us, the question is pretty straightforward. All they have asked you is the present value of an annuity. So if you are somebody who has the formula for present value of an annuity, you could directly solve it. Present value of an annuity is periodic payment divided by I into 1 minus 1 plus I raised to minus n. You are paying an annuity of 1000 for an interest rate of 5%, which means 0.05 is the rate. 1 minus 1 plus 0.05 raised to a negative 4, which then becomes 1000 divided by 0.05 into 1 minus 1.05, and then the rest is a calculator game. So we begin with 1.05, we raise it to 4, 2, 3, 4. We take a reciprocal, we subtract 1 from it, we multiply that by 1000, and then we divide it by 0.05, and the answer works out to be 3545.95, 3545.95. The closest you have to it is 3546. So the answer to this question is going to be 3546. That is question number 5, a pretty straightforward question. Question number 6, an indices question. What does the question say? If root of 3 raised to x is 81, what is the value of a? If this equation is true, fine. If root of 3 raised to x is 81, the left is 3, the right also has to be 3. Find out 81 is which power of 3? 3 into 2, 3, 4. 81 is the 4th power of 3. That's 3 raised to half raised to x is 3 raised to 4. 3 raised to x by 2 is 3 raised to 4. Values are equal. Bases are equal. Powers have to be equal. X by 2 is 4. X is 8. But 1 minute. They haven't asked you the value of x. They have asked you a if ax square minus 10x plus 16 is 0. If x is equal to 8, then a into 8 square minus 10 into 8 plus 16 is 0. 64a minus 80 plus 16 is 0. Minus 80 plus 16, 16 minus 80 is a negative 64. 64a minus 64 is 0. 64a is 64. A equals 1. The value of a has to be b, and that is 1. That is question number 6. Swiftly moving on to question number 7. Now, I said this time and again that because chapters like variation, because chapters like distance, speed, time are very simple chapters, are very basic chapters, they go out of the way to twist the questions a little, which they have done with a distance, speed, time question. What does the question say? Ajay walks 4 kilometers per hour, and 4 hours after he starts, Badal cycles after him at 10 kilometers per hour. How far from the start Badal catches up with Ajay? Let's understand the question. They are saying that Ajay starts walking. What is the speed at which Ajay walks? Ajay walks at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour. Now, once Ajay starts walking, Badal does not immediately start cycling. Badal starts cycling 4 hours after. This is a hint that the difference between their timings is 4 hours, and that is what you will capitalize on. What do you want from me? What I want from you is how far from the start does Badal catch up with Ajay? Or in loose terms, saying that what is the distance where Ajay and Badal will be together? Or mathematically saying, when will the distance be equal to each other? So if this is Ajay, he is walking at 4 kilometer per hour. What about the distance? Well, I don't know what the distance is. If this is Badal, he is cycling at 10 kilometer per hour. What is the distance? Well, we don't know. But what we know is that when they catch up with each other, both the distances is going to be the same. So what we will say is the time taken by Ajay is distance upon speed, and the time taken by Badal is distance upon speed. Now we know that Badal started 4 hours after Ajay, which means that the time taken by Ajay and the time taken by Badal is different. Ajay took more time than Badal by how many hours? By 4 hours, because Badal started 4 hours later, which means that the time of Ajay minus the time of Badal should be 4. But 1 minute, don't we know their timings in terms of distance? Yes. So the distance of Ajay divided by 4 is his time, and the distance divided by 10 is Badal's time, and this should be equal to 4. 4 and 10. Can I say the LCM is 20? 4 5s are 20, 5 times the distance. 10 2s are is 20, is 2 times the distance is 4. Can I say 4 plus, will I write it on the right? Yes, I'll write it here. 5D minus 2D is 3D by 20 is 4, or in other words, the distance is 4 into 20 by 3, or the distance is 4 into 20 and divide that by 3, and that is 26.666 or 26.67. The speed was given to you in kilometers per hour, which means the distance will be 26.67 kilometers. And again, people can have different solutions for it. This is mine. That is question number 7. Moving on to question number 8. The 7th term of the AP. They have told you it is an AP, and all they are asking is the 7th term. I honestly don't think it's difficult. You are increasing the projection. It is an increasing progression. So you are increasing it by 4. And because you are increasing it by 4, first term, second term, third term, you want the 7th. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be 12 plus another 4, which is a negative 8. Negative 8 plus another 4 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus positive 4 is 0. 0 plus 4 is another 4. The 7th term of the progression should be 4. What you could also do is, you wanted to solve it, you could say the first term is a negative 20. The common difference is a positive 4, or if you wanted to find it, it is 16 minus of minus 20, which is negative 16 plus 20, which is 4. You want the 7th term. Tn is a plus n minus 1 into d. The 7th term is 20 but negative plus n minus 1, which is 7 minus 1, which is 6, into d, which is 4. The 7th term is 6 4s are 24, minus 20 is 4. The answer to that is C, 4. That is question number 8. Question number 9. A GP question. Again, a question that can be done orally. The first term and the common ratio of a GP are 4.5. The 5th term is, the first term is 4 and the common ratio is half. So can I say you are constantly multiplying by half? So if this is your first term, second term, third term, fourth term. All I want is the fifth term. Half of 4 is 2, half of 2 is 1, half of 1 is half, and half of half is 1/4. So the answer to this should be 1 by 4. If you wanted to solve it, you could say that A here is 4 and the common ratio is half. If you want the fifth term, the nth term of this progression is AR raised to n minus 1. The fifth term of this progression is 4 into half raised to 5 minus 1. The fifth term of the progression is 4 into half raised to 4. The fifth term of the progression is 4 into 1 raised to 4 is 1, 2 raised to 4 is 16, 4 ones are 4, 4 fours are 16. The fifth term of the progression is 1 by 4. Same answer. Quickly moving on to question number 10. A very simple question in set theory. They had asked an exact similar question, both attempts. What does the question say? The number of elements in A is 70. The number of elements in that B is 60. The number of elements in A union B is 110. The number of elements in A intersection B is asked. Well, I know addition theorem. Number of elements in A union B is whatever A has plus whatever B has minus whatever both of them have together. The union is of 110. A has 70. B has 60. Both together is need to be found. Take both together to the other side. Number in A intersection B is 70 plus 60 minus 110. 60 plus 60 is 120 plus another 10 is 130 minus 110 is 20. The intersection has 20 elements. That is question number 10. Moving on to question number 11. A very good question. They want you to unite A and B along with A and not B. If you want you to unite A and B with A and not B, what we are going to do is we are going to draw a Venn diagram and see what is it that they want you to unite. So to begin with, I am going to draw an A. I am going to draw a B in a universe. This is A and this is B. So A, B. Let me make a copy of this because they're asking you to unite the two. So let's come to the first part. The first part is they want A intersection B. Done. This right here is A intersection B. They want you to unite that with A and not B. A and not B means I want A, but in that if there is B, I don't want. So that's basically only A, also known as A but not B, also known as A and not B. This is what you are looking for. You want A, but in that if there is a B, you do not want it. Now, if I unite the two, and they're asking you to unite the two, if I unite the two, doesn't it mean that you want basically a area which is consisting of both, which is A at the same time A intersection B. And what do both these areas add up to? Both these areas add up to the set A. So the answer to this is going to be the set A. That is question number 11. Question number 12. Log of B to the base A plus log of C to the base A is 0. They want you to remove the log and get an independent relationship between A and C. So log of B to the base A plus log of C to the base A is 0. Two logs are adding, bases are the same, values will multiply. Log of BC to the base A is 0. I need to get rid of the log. Log of a to the base b is c. B raised to c gives me a, or in other words, a raised to 0 is bc. But 1 minute, what is a raised to 0? Anything raised to 0 is always 1. Then can I say, keeping b on one side, b will be equal to 1 upon c. The answer to that, or question number 12, should be b, which is b is equal to 1 upon c. That is question number 12. Swiftly moving on to question number 13. Question number 13 can be dealt with in two ways. They are saying NPR is 720 times NCR. The very typical way of going about it is, why not write the formula for both? NPR is n factorial upon n minus r factorial. At the same time, NCR is n factorial upon r factorial into n minus r factorial. Equal quantities on opposite sides nullify the effect. So what do you get? One is 720 by r factorial, or in other words, r factorial is 720. If the left is a factorial of some number, the right should also be a factorial of some number, which means that 720 is nothing else but the factorial of 6. R is equal to 6. A very well put question. So the answer to 13 is going to be B, which is 6. Swiftly moving on to question number 14. In how many ways 6 books can be equally distributed amongst 3 boys? 6 books, 3 boys. If 6 books are distributed amongst 3 boys, every boy gets 2 books. That is what will add up to 6. So the number of ways of doing that is 6 factorial upon 2 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. That's 6 factorial, which is 720, divided by 2 into 2 into 2, which is nothing else but 720, divided by 8, which is nothing else but 8 nines are 72. So the answer to that is going to be 90 ways of distributing the books. That is question number 14. Moving on to question number 15. If alpha and beta are the roots of the equation x square minus 5x plus 6, and alpha is greater than beta. Remember, we used to say there is no grading of alpha and beta. Anything can be called alpha, anything can be called beta. But here they are saying that if you find the roots, take the bigger one as alpha and the smaller one as beta. And if you take the bigger one as alpha and smaller one as beta, then they want the equation whose roots are alpha beta plus beta and alpha beta minus beta. So the first step is going to be finding the values of alpha and beta. Now the good thing is you can split this equation. And because you can split this, or you can use the formula, you can find the values of alpha and beta. And the values of alpha and beta is going to be x square minus 6 can be split into two numbers, 3x and 2x, plus 6 is 0. Pull the x out common, x minus 3 minus 2 out common, x minus 3 is 0, x minus 3 out common, x minus 2 is equal to 0. So either x minus 3 is 0 or x minus 2 is 0. So either x is 3 or x is 2. No matter what x is, we can now say alpha is 3 and beta is 2. We have taken the bigger value as alpha and the smaller as beta. They want those two values, that equation that has one root this and the other root this. So I'm going to call these roots by different names because they've already used alpha and beta. I don't want to confuse you. I'm going to say I want an equation whose roots are p and q. The value of p is alpha beta plus beta, which is nothing else but 3 into 2 plus 3 plus 2, which is 6 plus 5, which is 11. And q is alpha beta minus beta, which is 3 into 2 minus 3 minus 2, which is 6 minus 5, which is 1. So if p and q are the roots of that quadratic equation, the quadratic equation will be given by x square minus sum of the roots into x plus product of the roots is equal to 0, which means x square minus sum of those two roots, which is p plus q, which is 12x, plus p into q, which is 11, is 0. An option that matches this is x square minus 12x plus 11. Then can I say the answer to 15 is going to be A? Isn't that right? That is question number 15. We move on to question number 16. What does question number 16 say? If alpha and beta are the roots of the quadratic equation, then what is the value of alpha cube plus beta cube? Again, this question or these questions become interesting if you cannot split the middle term. Here you can split the middle term and find the values of alpha and beta, and hence it is not interesting. Anyway, minus 3 can be split as 3 and 1, where multiplied gives you 3 and subtracted gives you 2. So this becomes x square minus 3x plus x minus 3 is equal to 0. X out common, x minus 3 plus 1 out common, x minus 3 is 0. X minus 3 into x plus 1 is 0. Either x minus 3 is 0 or x plus 1 is 0. Either x is 3 or x is minus 1. They want one root will be alpha, the other root will be beta. They want alpha cube plus beta cube, which is 3 cube minus plus minus 1 cube. 3 cube is 27. Cube of a negative is still positive. It's still negative. Then the answer to this is 27 minus 1, which is 26. The answer to question number 16 is going to be D. Sir, can we use the alpha plus beta and alpha beta property and find this? Yes, that is also an option. But that I would suggest if you could not split the middle term, here you can split the middle term. So it's okay if you don't do it. Question number 17, they asked derivatives. They asked what is the derivative of 1 upon x? So if the question is y is equal to 1 upon 3 minus 2x, I will say differentiating with respect to x, the derivative with respect to y of x is the derivative with respect to y of 1 upon 3 minus 2x. In the next step, dy by dx is derivative of 1 upon x is minus 1 upon x square. But 1 minute, is your x x? No, the x is a function in itself. Then into the derivative of whatever you assumed as x. So dy by dx is a negative 1 upon 3 minus 2x square into derivative of 3 is 0, 2 comes out, derivative of x is 1. So that is minus 1 upon 3 minus 2x, the whole square into minus 2. Negative negative becomes positive. 2 upon 3 minus 2x, the whole square. Is that an option? Yes. The answer to that is going to be C. So question number 17, the answer is going to be C. Quickly moving on to the next question, which is question number 18. Another derivatives question. What does the question say? The cost of producing X units of a product is 300x minus 10x square plus 1 by 3x cube. Find the marginal cost. Now you've given me the total cost equation. What is the total cost equation? The total cost equation is 300x minus 10x square plus 1 by 3x cube. I will say differentiating with respect to x. Why? Because they want marginal cost. Marginal of any function, whether it is marginal cost or revenue or marginal profit, is nothing else but the derivative of the function. So marginal cost is the derivative of the total cost. Marginal cost is the derivative of 300x minus 10x square plus 1 by 3x cube. Marginal cost is going to be equal to, so marginal cost is derivative of 300x is 300, derivative of x is 1. 10, derivative of x is 2x. 1 by 3, Derivative of x cube is 3x square. You get a 3 and a 3 cancelled. I get marginal cost is 300 minus 20x plus x square. But now they're asking you the marginal cost for 12 units. So I'm going to say for x equals 12, marginal cost is 300 minus 20 into 12 plus 12 square. This is 300 minus 12 2s are 24, so 240 plus 144, which is 300 minus 240 plus 144. The answer to this is 204. Is that an option? Yes, 204 is option A. So the answer to this is going to be option A. That is question number 18. Moving on to question number 19. Another derivatives question. The condition required for maximization of the function f of x. Well, if you want to maximize it or minimize it, we first take the first order derivative, make it 0. Then we take a second order derivative, substitute those values of x in the second order derivative. At whatever value the second order derivative is less than 0, at that point the function will be maximum. When it is more than 0, the function will be minimum. So for maximization criteria, your second order derivative should be greater than 0. I see only one option agreeing to it, and that is why the answer is going to be C. And the answer is going to be C anyway, because you take a first order derivative and take it equal to 0. And then you take a second order derivative, substitute that, and make sure the value is greater than 0, which means the function is maximum. That is question number 19. Moving on to the last question. This is literally a question that is in our sheets in the exact numbers. And the question is a by b raised to x minus 1 is b by a raised to x minus 3. To make them the same, I need to flip one of those, but I will flip it only to make sure that I nullify the effect. And if b by a is written as a by b, then the answer to that will be minus of x minus 3. So in the next step, a by b raised to x minus 1 is a by b raised to minus x plus 3. Two values are equal, bases are equal, powers have to be equal. X minus 1 is minus x minus 3. So x minus 1 is, take the negative x to the other side, x plus 1 is 3 plus 1, sorry, x plus x is 3 plus 1, 2x is 4, x is equal to 2. Sorry. Question number 19. Yes. Oh, sorry, maximization. Sorry about that. The answer will be B. Maximization, right? Not minimization. The first order derivative must be 0 and the second order derivative must be less than 0. Sorry about that. Make that change. I read that as minimization. That is question number 20. Question number 21. In a pie diagram, 1% is equivalent to, well, a pie diagram is out of 360. It is 1% of 360, and 1% of 360 is 360 into 1 upon 100, which is 3.6. So the answer to this is 3.6 degrees. Question number 22. Data collected on religion from a census report. From a census report. Not for a census report. You are not collecting the data for the report. You are collecting the data from the report. And because you are collecting data from the report, it will become a secondary data value. Question number 23. A variable which can take any value in a specified interval in the real line can be a continuous variable. Continuous variables can take any value. So 23 is going to be A. Question number 24. the frequency density of a class and the total frequency of a group frequency distribution with equal class width is 17 and 204. What is 17 and 204? Frequency density and the total frequency of that class. So I know that class, or let me write this as frequency density is the class frequency divided by the class width. Now I know that the frequency density is 17 and the class frequency is 204 divided by the class width. Cross multiply, class width is 204 upon 17. Class width is 204 divided by 17, and that is 12. The width of the class is 12 units. That is question number 24. The answer is going to be D, 12. Moving on to question number 25. If the mean of 7, n plus 3, 10, n minus 3, and n minus 5 is 15, then what is the value of n? Well, the mean value of x is the sum of all x's divided by n. Now, don't take this n in the wrong sense. Here, their n is some arbitrary constant. Here, my n is the total number of data values. The mean is 15. Then can I say 15 is 7 plus n plus 3 plus 10 plus n minus 3 plus n minus 5, the whole divided by, how many data values are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The whole divided by 5. Take the 5 to the other side. 15 5s are 75. 7 plus n plus 3 plus 10 plus n minus 3 plus n minus 5. You will notice that there is a positive 3 and a negative 3 that nullifies the effect. What are you left with? You are left with 10 minus 5, which is 5. 5 plus 7, which is 12. So this further simplifies to 75 is equal to 12 plus n, 3n. Take the 75 to the other side and subtract. 63 is 3n, or n is equal to 3 2s are 6, 3 1s are 3. The value of question number 25 should be D, 21. Moving on to question number 26. The median of the numbers. Now, for the median, step 1 is writing them down in an ascending order. The smallest number that I see is 12. The next after that is, I don't see anything below a 21. After that is a 37. After that is a 49. After that is a, after that is a 46. And after that is a 49. After that is a 55. After that is a 63, a 74, and a 77. And an 88. What do you want? Median? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 data values. The median of any data is the n plus 1 by 2th observation, which is 9 plus 1 by 2th observation, which is nothing else but 10 by 2, which is nothing else but the 5th observation. And what is the 5th observation? The 5th observation is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 49. So can I say median of this data is 49? Give me 1 second. That was question number 26. Moving on to question number 27. So the answer to question number 26 is 49. That is A. Moving on to question number 27. Quartile deviation of the numbers. Well, to find quartile deviation, I first need to find the quartiles. To which step 1 is writing the data down in an ascending order. 5. After 5 comes 12. After 12 comes 15. After 15 comes 18, sorry. Then the 22, 18, 22, 30, and 44. How many data values are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first quartile is n plus 1 by 4th. Observation. So the first quartile is 7 plus 1 by 4th. Observation. The first quartile is 7 plus 1, 8. Divided by 4 is 2 is the second observation. The second observation is 12. So the first quartile is 12. Let's come to the third quartile. The third quartile is 3 times n plus 1 by 4th. Observation. So the third quartile is 3 times 7 plus 1 by 4th. Observation. The third quartile is the sixth observation. And what is the sixth observation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth observation is 30. What do you want? Quartile deviation. Quartile deviation is nothing else but the semi-interquartile range. That's 30 minus 12. Divide that by 2. That's 18 by 2, which is going to be 9. The quartile deviation of this data is going to be 9. That is an option. That is question number 27. The answer is going to be B, 9. Question number 28. A very straightforward question. There are 10 values. Sum of x is 120. Sum of x square is 1690. They want the standard deviation. Well, for the standard deviation, I need the mean. So the first thing that I'm going to say is x bar is sum of all x's divided by n. X bar is 120 divided by 10, or x bar is 12. I will now say standard deviation of x is the square root of sum of x square upon n minus x bar square, which is nothing else but the square root of sum of x square 1690 n 10 x bar is 12 square, which is the square root of 169, because 1690 divided by 10 minus 144. 169 minus 144 is 25, and square root of 25 is 5. The answer to question number 28 is going to be 5. Moving on to question number 29. If the means of sample 1 and sample 2 are 20 and 50 respectively, and the mean of the combined sample is 30, find the percentage of observations in sample number 1. So what have they given you for two samples 1 and 2? They have given you the mean and they have given you the number. The means are 20 and 50, and they have given you a combined average of 30. What they've not given you is how many values does n1 have and how many values does n2 have. Well, we will use the formula for joint combined mean. So x bar combined is x1 n1 plus x2 n2 divided by n1 plus n2. So the combined mean, which is 30, is 20 n1 plus 50 n2 divided by n1 plus n2. Now, I have said this before and I will say it again. You will not be able to find what n1 and n2 is because there are two unknowns. What you might be able to do is achieve a relationship between them, cross multiply. 30 times n1 plus n2 is 20 times n1 plus 50 times n2. 30 times n1 is 30 n1 plus 30 times n2 is equal to 20 n1 plus 50n2. Take the 30n2 to the other side, bring the 20 here. 30n1 minus 20n1 is equal to 50n2 minus 30n2. In the next step, I get 10n1 is equal to 20n2. If I want to change this into a ratio, n1 upon n2 is 20 by 10. n1 upon n2 is 2:1. But that is not what they wanted. What they wanted is this, but in percentage. Now, there are different ways of going about it. Can I say n1 and n2 are in the ratio of 2:1? So if you want to split 100% as 2:1, you will have to split it as 2/3 and 1/3. And because you are doing this out of 100, it is 2/3 of 100 and 1/3 of 100, which will become 2 into 100, divide that by 3, and the answer is 66.6666. Now, 100 divided by 3 is 33.3333. And that is why what they are asking you is the percentage of observations of sample 1. The answer to that is 66.6667. Now, if you've done this with me, I've also shown you a shortcut. And the shortcut to find the ratio between the number of elements is write down the two means. The first mean is 20, the second is 50. So that's 20, 50. Write down the combine in between them, which is 30. Ask the 20 to cross subtract. Ask the 50 to cross subtract. This is 20 and this is 10. I know negative, but you will still write it as 10. And that's your answer. That's your ratio of n1 is to n2, which is 20 is to 10. After that, the rest of the solution remains exactly the same. Swiftly moving on, question number 30. What does the question say? For a frequency distribution, coefficient of variation is 4%, standard deviation is 6, and the coefficient of skewness is 1.5. The mode of the distribution is. They have given you coefficient of variation, which is 4%. They have given you standard deviation, which is 6. They want the coefficient of skewness. Sorry, they've given you the coefficient of skewness. They are asking you to find the mode. Now, the formula that has coefficient of skewness and mode is, skewness is mean minus mode upon sigma. Well, I have sigma. I have mode. No. I have mean. Well, no. Well, then the first step is finding the mean using the CV value. Coefficient of variation is nothing else but standard deviation upon the mean into 100, which is 4 into standard deviation upon the mean, which is not known, into 100. Sorry, standard deviation is known. Cross multiply, x bar is 6 upon 4 into 100, or x bar is 1.5 into 100, which is 150. Now, if you got the value of x bar is 150, let's go back to the skewness coefficient. SKP is the coefficient of skewness by Karl Pearson, and that is given by the formula standard deviation, mean minus mode upon standard deviation. So 1.5 is equal to mean, which is 50, minus the standard deviation upon, minus the z value upon the standard deviation, and the standard deviation is 6. In the next step, 6 into 1.5, that's 6, plus another 3 halves. So that's 6 into 1.5 will become 9, is equal to 150 minus z. Z is equal to 150 minus 9, which is 140. The answer to 30 is 144. This kid has gotten it correct mostly. Moving on to question number 31. What does the question say? Yes, D 141. What does the question say? The question says that if 2y minus 6x is 6, they're asking you what is the value of, what is the mode of x? mode of x is 21, then what is the mode of y? Well, if 2y minus 6x is 6, then 2 times the mode of y minus 6 times the mode of x is also 6. They want you to find the mode of y. I know the mode of x is 21. Then I will say 22 into the value of the mode of y, 2 times the mode of y minus 6 times the mode of x is equal to 6. So that's 2 times the mode of y is minus 6 2s are 12. So 120 plus another 6 is 126 is 6. Take this to the other side. 2 times the mode of y is equal to 132. Mode of y is 132 divided by 2, which is 2 6 are 12 and 2 6 are 12. So the value of mode of y is going to be 66. So the answer to question number 31 is B, 66. Moving on to question number 32. What does the question say? The covariance between x and y is 12 and byx is 43. What is the variance of x? A very simple, a very straightforward question. The value of byx is the covariance between x and y divided by the standard deviation of y squared, or we can say the variance of x squared. So that becomes 12 divided by the variance of x is 4 by 3, cross multiply. Variance of x is 12 into 3 by 4, which is 3 4s are 12, 3 3s are 9. The variance of x is 9. Be very careful in these questions. Check if they have, by any chance, asked for standard deviation, because if they have, you will end up making a mistake. That is question number 32. Just give me a minute. I've been chattering for a while. Let me just grab a quick gulp of water. Moving on to question number 33. What does the question say? The value of rank correlation lies between, see, no matter what correlation it is, whether it is Karl Pearson, whether it is rank, or whether it is coefficient of concurrent deviations, the answer is always between -1 and 1. Question number 34. Find the correlation coefficient of the following pair of x and y. Well, if you want me to give you the answer orally, the answer is 0. Why is the answer 0? Why am I so confident? Because look at the movement. X is moving beautifully. X is increasing by 2 every time. -3 plus 2 is -1. -1 plus 2 is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. On the other hand, Y is not moving that manner. Y decreased by 8. So here there is a -8 deviation. Then it is constant, which is no change. And then there is an increase of 8. Do you notice this change absolutely makes no sense? And that is why there is absolutely no correlation between them. But there's another way that you will do, and that is, suppose we decide to find R. Can't I say I will write X, I will write Y. After that, I will find the covariance and then I will find the standard deviations. So X is -3, -1, 1, 3. Y is 9, 1, 1, 9. Let's start with the covariance. The covariance between X and Y is sum of xy upon n minus x bar, y bar So to find the covariance, I need to first find x into y. 9 threes are 27 negative, 1 into 1 negative, 1 into 1 positive, 1, 3 into 9 positive 27. The total works out to be 0. Do you notice that the total of x also works out to be 0? What about the total of y? The total of y works out to be 20. So if I start finding x bar is 0 upon 4, which is 0. Y bar is 20 upon 4, which is 5. And sum of xy is 0. Then I will say covariance is sum of xy, which is 0, upon n, which is 4, minus x bar y bar, which is 0 into 5. Doesn't that become 0 minus 0, which is 0? But 1 minute, sir. They've said correlation. Are I agree. Isn't the formula for correlation covariance upon standard deviation? Now tell me, if the covariance only works out to be 0, isn't the correlation also 0 then? And that is why the answer to that is going to be A, 0. Question number 35. Sum of d square is 33, n is 10. Find the rank correlation coefficient. Rank correlation coefficient is 1 minus 6 sigma d square upon n into n square minus 1. Rank correlation coefficient is 1 minus 6 into 33 upon 10 into 10 square minus 1. The value of rank correlation is 1 minus 6 into 33 divided by 10 square is 100, minus 1 is 99, into 10 is 990. 3 11s are 33. 3 3s are 9. 3 3s are 9, 0. 11 1s are 11. 11 3s are is 33, 0. 6 1s are 6. 6 5s are 30. So that leaves us with R is 1 minus 1 upon 5. R is 1 minus 0.2. R is 0.8. There is 0.8 correlation between the ranks. That is 35. Moving on to question number 36. Which one of the following statement is true? Values of both bivariate regression coefficients can be more than 1? No. Why? If both are more than 1, if bxy is also more than 1, let's say 2. If byx is also more than 1, let's say 3, the value of r will be the positive or the negative square root of bxy into byx. Do you agree that when I multiply 2 and 3, I will get positive or negative square root of 6? Doesn't that mean that r will become greater than 1? And can I say r can never be greater than 1? And that is why if one of the coefficients is greater than 1, the other has to be less than 1. So this is definitely not true. If the values of the bivariate regression coefficients are negative, then the correlation is positive. No. If the values of the bivariate regression are negative, then the correlation will also be negative. If the values of the bivariate regression coefficients are positive, then the correlation is positive. Yes. Values of bivariate regression coefficients can be opposite in signs. No. If bxy is positive, byx has to be positive. If bxy is negative, byx also has to be negative. They will all have the same sign, whether either they will be all positive or they will be all negative. Moving on to question number 37. The two regression lines of the variables x and y intersect at 4, 5. Well, this is another way of saying that the value of x bar is 4 and the value of y bar is 5 because the lines intersect at the values of x bar and y bar. They have given you the value of byx, which is 2.5. They're asking you to find y when x is 6. Well, which means you want the line of regression of y on x. And the line of regression of y on x is y minus y bar is byx into x minus x bar, which is y minus y bar, which is 5, is 2.5 into x minus x bar, which is 4. In the next step, y minus 5 is 2.5x minus 2.5 into 4 is 10. Take the 5 to the other side. Y is equal to 2.5x minus 10 plus 5. Y is equal to 2.5x minus 5. You want the value of y when x is 6. Substitute y is 2.5 into 6 minus 5. So y is 2.5 into 6. Subtract 5 from it. And the answer to that is going to be 10. C, 10. That is question number 37. Question number 38. If the variables x and y are independent, what is the correlation? Well, you said it right there. They are independent. If they are independent, they have absolutely nothing to do with each other, which means the correlation coefficient will be 0. Question number 39. A, B, and C are equally likely, mutually exclusive, and exhaustive. What is the probability of A? So there are 3 events ABC. They are equally likely. Well, equally likely means that probability of A, probability of B, and probability of C is the same. Mutually exclusive. Implies that probability of A, B, and C happening together is absolutely no chance. Probability of A and B happening together is absolutely no chance. Probability of A and C happening together is absolutely no chance. Probability of B and C happening together is absolutely no chance. They are exhaustive, and that is, if they are exhaustive, it means that there is a 100% chance of one of them happening, which is A union B union C has a 100% chance of occurrence. Well, in that case, for these 3 to be true, if I write down addition theorem, probability of A union B union C is probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C minus probability of A intersection B minus probability of B intersection C minus probability of A intersection C plus probability of A intersection B intersection C. And that becomes, I know that the union is 1. Probability of A, probability of B, probability of C minus 0, 0, 0, 0. Then can I say P of A plus P of B plus P of C is 1. But 1 minute, they are all equal. If they are all equal, I'm replacing probability of A, B, and C with all A's. Can I say 3 times probability of A is 1? Probability of A is 1 by 3. The answer to that is, what are the probabilities of all 3? 1 by 3. And very honestly, you don't have to do the lengthy method. It's common sense. If they are mutually exclusive, if they are exhaustive, and they are equally likely, they all 3 need to have the same probabilities. And the only way that will happen is if all 3 take the probability 1 by 3. 1/3 chance of everybody happening. That is question number 39. Question number 40, an interesting question. The probability that a candidate passes in accountancy and economics are 0.5 and 0.6. So probability of passing in accountancy is 0.5 and probability of passing in economics is 0.6. What is the probability the candidate passes in only one of the 2 subjects? Only one? Now, you can do this in different ways. You can use set theory, you can use Venn diagrams, you can use probability itself. Remember, I had told you that whenever they give you something like this, ask them for union and intersection. Or tell them, give me union, I will find intersection, or give me intersection, I will find union. Do you notice they've not given union or intersection? Now, when does that happen? Well, that happens when either they are mutually exclusive or they are independent. Now, do you notice they don't talk about mutual exclusion anywhere? Meaning, is there a chance that a student can pass accountancy and economics at the same time? Yes. But tell me one thing. Does passing in accountancy have anything to do with passing in economics? No. Then can I say we can consider them as independent events? And if they are independent, probability of A intersection E is probability of A into probability of E, which is 0.5 into 0.6. 6 5 as 30. The answer is 0.3. If I have the intersection, I can have the union. Probability of A union B is A union E rather is probability of A plus probability of B minus the probability of A intersection B. That's 0.5 plus 0.6 minus 0.3, which is 0.5 plus 0.6 minus 0.3, and the answer is 0.8. I have A, I have B, I have the union, I have the intersection. What do you want? What is the probability that the candidate passes in only one subject? What do you mean by only one subject? Well, set theory wise, passes in accounts and not economics, or passes in economics and not accounts. Can I say this is nothing else but passing in accounts minus passing in accounts and economics, or passing in economics minus passing in accounts and economics? I know passing in accounts is 0.5. I know passing in accounts and economics is 0.3, plus economics is 0.6, accounts and economics is 0.3. The answer to that is going to be 0.5 plus 0.6, which is 0.1, or this 0.6 and this 0.6 cancels. Can I say the answer is 0.5? The same question, after this, after getting all these probabilities, you could draw a Venn diagram. Now, what would you draw a Venn diagram for? A Venn diagram for 100% probability. We can talk about this in percentages. How? Let me show you. Can I say that out of a 100% chance, 100%, can I say A and B both happening together is 30%? Yes, this is A, this is B, this is 30%. In which A was 50%. So this will become 20. E was 60%. Sorry. E was 60%. So can I say this is 40? If this is 40, 30, 70 plus 20 is 90, then can I say there is a 10% here? What do you want? 1 minute. Have I made a mistake? Yes, this is 60, sorry. So if that is 30, this is also 30. 30, 30, 60 plus 20 is 80. So this is 20. What do you want? What you want from me is passes one paper. Only one. Only one meaning passes only accounts and only economics. That's 50 out of 100, and 50 out of 100 is a 0.5. The third and the last way of doing this question, because they are independent, and that is you want a student to pass in only one, correct? What we know is that the chances of passing in accounts is 0.5 and the chances of passing in eco is 0.6. If you want passing in only one, which means passes in accounts and does not pass eco, or passes in account eco and does not pass accounts. Now, because they are independent, what you can also say is this is the same as passing in accounts and not passing in eco, or passing in eco and not passing in accounts. Passing in accounts is 0.5, not eco is 0.4, plus passing in eco is 0.6, and not accounts is 0.5. That's 5 fours are 20 plus 6 fives is 30. The answer is 0.5. No matter how you do it, the answer will work out to be 0.5. That is question number 40. Moving on to question number 41. This is a tad interesting question. Just give me a second. The probability of getting 52 Sundays in a leap year is, we all know what a leap year is. A leap year is 366 days. Now, in the 366 days, if you divide 366 by 7, which is a week, how many weeks will it have? 52. 52 weeks is 364 days. So 364 days and 2 extra days. So that's basically 52 weeks and 2 extra days. Now, if there are 52 weeks, every week has a Sunday, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, then there will be 52 Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. What are you asking? The probability of getting 52 Sundays. If you ask me, according to me, or this is my opinion, they didn't want to ask this question. They wanted to ask 53 Sundays. Or if they wanted to ask 52 Sundays, they should have said getting only or exactly 52 Sundays. What does that mean? What it means is that I will get 52 Sundays for sure, but 1 minute, there are 2 extra days. These 2 extra days can bring in more Sundays. I don't want more Sundays. I want exactly and exactly 52. In that case, I need to make sure these two cannot be Sundays. So the 2-day combination, which is Sunday, Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday should not be Saturday, Sunday, and Sunday, Monday. Because if that happens, what might happen is I might get more than 52 Sundays. So if you want 52 Sundays is what you want, then you will get 52 Sundays from the 52 weeks. The 2 extra days should be anything else apart from Sundays. There are 5 chances of that happening out of 7. According to me, the answer to this should be 5 out of 7. If the answer was 53, then the answer would be 2 out of 7. That is question number 41. Question number 42. An unbiased coin is tossed 3 times. Unbiased coin tossed 3 times, sample space. 8 outcomes, head, tail. Number in the sample space will be 8, which is 2 raised to 3, which is 8. Head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, head, tail, tail, head, head, tail, tail, head, 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 tail, 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 tail. You want at least 2 heads, minimum 2 heads. More than 2, allowed. Less than 2, not allowed. At least 2 heads is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the answer is going to be 4 out of 8. 4 out of 8 is going to be 1 out of 2. A pretty straightforward question. The answer to 42 is going to be D. Moving on to question number 43. A box contains 5 red and 2 white balls. 2 balls are drawn at random simultaneously from the box. What is the probability of getting balls of the same color? Let's first define how many elements can there be in the sample space. Well, there are 5 red and 3 white balls. 5 red and 3 white balls directly add up to a total of 8 balls that I want. 8 balls are going to be what? Out of 8 balls, if you ask me to draw 2, 8C2, 8 into 7 upon 2, which is 2 ones are, 2 fours are, 7 fours are 28. Let's hold it there. You want the balls of the same color. If you want balls of the same color, then they can be either both red or both white. If they are both red, in that case, there are 5 reds. From that, pick any two. Or for both white, from the 3 whites, pick up any two. That's 5 into 4 upon 2 into 1, 3 into 2 upon 2 into 1, which is 10 plus 3, which is 13. Then the probability of A occurring is 13 out of 28 outcomes. The answer to that is going to be 13 out of 28. The answer to 43 is going to be A. Moving on to question number 44. Probability of A is given to you, B is given to you, B knowing A is given to you, A knowing B is asked. What do I need for A knowing B? I need the intersection and I need B. I have the intersection. No. I have B. Yes. Where will the intersection come from? The intersection will come from here. Probability of B knowing A is nothing else but probability of B intersection A divided by the probability of A. B knowing A is 4 by 9. Probability of B intersection A, I don't know. Probability of A is 2 by 3. The value will cross multiply. 4 by 9 into 2 by 3 is the probability of B intersection A, or the probability of B intersection A is 8 by 27. We move on to the next. They want probability of A knowing B. Probability of A knowing B is probability of A intersection B upon the probability of B. Probability of A intersection B, we just found, is 8 by 27. Probability of B was half. So in the next step, I'm going to say 8 by 27 divided by half is 8 by 27 multiplied by 2 upon 1, which is 16 upon 27. Is that an option? Yes. The answer is C, 16 by 27. That is question number 44. Question number 45. An unbiased coin is tossed thrice. Well, we just did this question. When you toss an unbiased coin 3 times, when you toss an unbiased coin 3 times, this is what you get. If an unbiased coin is tossed 3 times, this is what you get. If the first toss gets a head, what is the probability of getting one more head? Conditional probability. The first toss has to get a head. Well, if the first toss has to get a head, I can't look everywhere. I can only look in these 4 outcomes, because these 4 outcomes have the first toss as head. Then my sample space does not have 8. My sample space only has 4 values. Why? Because the first toss gets ahead. I don't want the ones where the first toss is not ahead. What is the probability of getting one more head? Only one more head? Well, only one more head. Along with this head, there are 2 heads, not allowed. This is allowed because there is one more head. This is allowed where there is one more head. Then can I say there are 2 such options out of 4? The answer is 1 out of 2. You can do this question as Bayes' theorem also. That is also another way of going about it. You can say probability of getting one more head, knowing that the first is already a head. So it is probability of getting 2 heads divided by probability of the first being head, which will again work out to be 2 out of 4, which is 0.5. That is question number 45. Question number 46. They've given you the sum of P0, Q0, P1, Q1, P1, Q0, P1, Q1. They've given you all of it. What are they asking you? They're asking you Fisher's price index number. For Fisher's price index number, what I need to have with me is last pairs and partials. Because Fisher's is nothing else but the geometric mean of last pairs and partials. So I will find last year's price index number, which is nothing else but the sum of the product of the price in the current into the quantity in the base divided by the price in the base into the quantity in the base multiplied by 100, and Pache's price index number is going to be the sum of the price in the current into the quantity in the current divided by the price in the base into the quantity in the current into 100, which is nothing else but P1 Q0 is 256, P0 Q0 196 into 100, which is 256 divided by 196, multiply that by 100, which is 130.61. If you want to, you can add that to memory. Let's come to Pache's. P1 Q1 is 441. P0 Q1 is 324. Multiply that by 100. P01 is nothing else but 441 divided by 324. Multiply that by 100. The answer is 136.1111. You want Fisher's price index number, which is the geometric mean of last year's, and Pache's, which is nothing else but the square root of 130.612241 into 136.1111. Now I will check if I can recall and multiply. Multiply this by recalling the memory. Yes. And now take a square root of it. The answer is 133.33333. Is that an option? Yes, 133.3333. That's question number 46. Question number 47. A delay in production of a factory due to sudden breakdown of machine is. Machine breakdown does not happen in a exceeding pattern or a decreasing pattern. It is not a cycle. Machine breakdown is not seasonal. When something breaks down, your car breaking down, your bike breaking down, is an irregular variation. It is something that I cannot forecast. It is not something that is in my control. So it is an irregular variation. Question number 48. Find the 3-yearly moving average for the year 2023. So if you want the 3-yearly moving average for the year 2023, we will keep 2023 in the center and go 1 year up and 1 year down. So the answer to that is going to be 6 plus 5.5 plus 5 divided by 3. If you adjust this by 0.5, everything becomes 0.5. The answer is 5.5. The answer is going to be B. Let's come to question number 49. Another index number question. This they had asked in the last attempt also. The net monthly income of an employee was 10,000 per month in 2010, where the consumer index was 80 in 2010 and became 240 in 2023. Calculate the additional dearness allowance. Well, I had given you the relationship. We can say, if you want to say income, income, salary, salary, I'm going to say salary. The salary in the base year and the salary in the current year should follow the same ratio as the index in the base and the index in the current. The salary in the base year was 10,000. I don't know what the salary in the current is. Let's call it X. The index in the base was 80. The index in the current is 240. Cross multiply 1000 into 240 upon 80 is X in your calculators. 1000 into 240 divided by 80 is the salary, which is, 10,000. 10,000 into 240, divide that by 80, and the answer is 30,000. X is 30,000. So that person's salary should be 30,000. Well, yes, but what are they asking? Calculate the additional dearness allowance to be paid to the employee so that he or she is compensated. which means that I am paying them 10,000 rupees. I need to compensate for the extra. So compensation is going to be 30,000 minus 10,000, and the compensation is going to be 20,000 rupees. The answer to this is C, 20,000. That is question number 49. Question number 50. The price of a commodity in the year 2010 is, and 2020 are 40 and 50. In 2010, the commodity was 40. In 2020, the commodity was 50. What is the price relative taking 2010 as the base? So if you're taking 2010 as the base, it is 2020 by 2010, loosely saying, into 100. Well, in 2020, it is 50. 2010, it was 40 into 100, which is nothing else but 125, if I'm correct, should be the answer. A. And that's it. With that, the paper discussion is done. Thank you.